Linux is most used free open source operating system, OS. As an operating system, Linux is software that sits underneath all of the other software on a computer, receiving requests from those programs and relaying these requests to the computer's hardware. Linux System Administrator Responsibilities. The Linux system administrators are responsible for installing, configuring and maintaining the Linux servers and workstations. They are responsible for maintaining the network environment as well as the health of the network and servers. The Linux system administrators need to participate in various cross-training activities, so as to achieve a comfort level that supports the database. They may also be involved in training the subordinate team members in system administration and software deployment responsibilities. Installing and configuring server and creating and maintaining user accounts. Evaluate all documents according to system requirements and evaluate all design and perform tests on all development activities and administer all complex methodologies. Develop an infrastructure to provide support to all business requirements and perform regular troubleshoot on system to resolve all issues. Monitor everyday systems and evaluate availability of all server resources and perform all activities for Linux servers. Configuring a secure system. It is a duty of administrator to involve tasks and decisions to run secure Linux system in maintaining data integrity. Resolve all issues across various technologies and design require enterprise servers and provide backup support. It perform tests on all new software and maintain patches for management services. Administrator all performance for various resources and ensure optimization for same and provide support to all applications and ensure optimal level of customer services. It perform troubleshoot on all tools and maintain multiple servers and provide backup for all files and script management servers. What is Linux System Administrator? In IT field, Linux is a main role in computing technology, powering everything from mobile phones and personal computers, systems to supercomputers and servers. The main job of a systems administrator is to manage the operations of a computer systems. In Linux system administrator is a person who has root access, that is super user. It means he has privilege to access everything, which includes all user accounts, all system configurations, home directories with all files therein, all files in system. What is kernel? A kernel is the part of the operating system that manages system resources. Kernel is responsible for controlling access to CPU, memory, disk I/O, and networking. What is shell? Shell provides user interface to the Unix system. It take input from user and process it and send show result to user. What is the Minix? Minix, Mini Unix, is the Unix clone written by Andrew Tannenbaum at VU University, in Amsterdam when universities were no longer allowed access to the Unix source code. Minix also inspired the creation of the Linux kernel. What is POSIX? POSIX, Portable Operating System Interface, is a set of standard operating system interfaces based on the Unix operating system. It is the standard for ensuring compatibility between Unix versions. What is name of first process in Linux? Init is the first process in Linux which is started by kernel and whose PID is 1. Who initiated the GNU project? GNU project was initiated by Richard Stallman on September 27, 1983 at MIT. Main motive of this project was to give freedom and control and use of softwares. GNU software guarantees these freedom rights legally via its license. Users are free to run the software, share it, copy it, distribute it, study it and modify it. What is the use of sysctl command? In this command the /bin/sysctl command is used to view, set, and automate kernel settings in the /proc/sys/directory. Explain the procedure for reinstalling grub in Linux. Download Ubuntu installation, livecd. Boot from Ubuntu installation, livecd, USB, burned CD etc. During boot select try Ubuntu, don't select install. Mount your Linux root partition. sudo mount /dev/stasix/mnt, assuming /dev/stasix is the Linux root partition. Install, Reinstall grub. sudo grub install root directory equals /mnt//devsda, where /devsda is your primary disk. Installation finished. No error reported. Reboot your system, remove bootable CD, and we should have the boot menu ready when the system starts. What is the use of DAS, NAS and SAN? DAS, Direct Attached Storage, is a block device from a disk which is physically attached to the host machine, such as /devsda or /dev/sta1. You must place a file system upon it before it can be used. There are limitations like the number of servers that can access it. Storage device, or say DAS storage, has to be near to the server storage and the resources are dedicated, but generally, you are not able to dedicate the hard disks to multiple computers. DAS solution is inexpensive and simple to configure. Technologies to do this include IDE, SCSI, SATA, SAS, etc. NAS, Network Attached Storage, is a type of dedicated file storage device that provides local area network LAN, nodes with file-based shared storage through a standard Ethernet connection. NAS authenticates clients and provides shared to other computers and users over a network, so it requires a dedicated IP address to be accessible. NAS devices generally run an embedded operating system on simplified hardware and lack peripherals like a monitor or keyboard. Network file systems can be considered safe enough to be used in a concurrent way. The protocol implementation will take care of problems due to concurrent access to the same resource, file, normally by locking the file to a single user, requester. You can set up automatic or manual backups and file copies between the NAS and all other connected devices by using a software program. It is an easy way to provide RAID redundancy to mass amount of users. It allows users permissions, folder privileges, restricted access to documents, etc. SAN, Storage Area Network, is the storage area network which is useful for long-distance storage. SAN has the particularity to be a block-level storage solution that NAS doesn't provide. It is optimized for high volume of block-level data transfer. SAN is performed best when used with fiber channel medium, optical fibers, and a fiber channel switch. It provides synchronous replication, and it is an architecture to attach remote storage to make it appear as though it is locally attached. They are highly scalable, both from a capacity and performance perspective. It offers a centralized storage management. It is a solution for terabytes of storage and multiple simultaneous access to files, for example streaming audio, video, and it allows virtual environments, cloud computing, etc. What is SAS? SAS, Serial Attached SCSI. This allows to create entire SANs as SAS supports routing and addressing. What is an ITRD? An ITRD means initial RAM disk, which contains the temporary root file system and necessary modules, which helps in mounting the real root file system in read mode only. What is bootloader? Bootloader is a program that boots the operating system and decides from which kernel OS will boot. What is a zombie? Zombies are the premature process, whose mature parent process died without retrieving its children. These processes cannot be killed by normal kill command. What is swap space or swap file? Swap space in Linux is used when the amount of physical memory, RAM, is full. If the system needs more memory resources and the RAM is full, inactive pages and memory are moved to the swap space. While swap space can help machines with a small amount of RAM, it should not be considered a replacement for more RAM. Swap space is located on hard drives, which have a slower access time than physical memory. What is MX record? MX record numerically ranks the mail server, when you would like to receive email for a domain. The preference of the email depends on the lowest MX record, but you are allowed to specify multiple email servers with the same value for simple load balancing. What are CUPS? CUPS, Common Unix Printing System, is an open-source printing system developed by Apple Incorporated. CUPS uses the Internet Printing Protocol, IPP, to allow local printing and print sharing. What is SoftLink? SoftLink is a method to create shortcuts in Linux. It is similar to Windows shortcut feature. What is LVM? LVM, Logical Volume Manager, is a storage management solution that allows administrators to divide hard drive space into physical volumes, PV, which can then be combined into logical volume groups, VG, which are then divided into logical volumes, LV, on which the file system and mount point are created. What is RAID? RAID, Redundant Array of Inexpensive Disks, is a technology that is used to increase the performance and/or reliability of data storage. RAID is a method by which same data or information is spread across several disks, using techniques such as disk striping, RAID level 0, disk mirroring, RAID level 1, and disk striping with parity, RAID level 5, to achieve redundancy, lower latency, increased bandwidth, and maximized ability to recover from hard disk crashes. RAID 0, blocks striping, no mirror, no parity. RAID 1, blocks mirroring, no striping, no parity. RAID 5, blocks striping with parity or distributed parity. RAID 6, blocks striping with double parity. RAID 10, combining mirroring and striping. What are run levels in Linux? Run levels define what processes or services to run automatically while the system boots up. This is defined in /etc/init file. Run levels on Debian systems default to this kind of setup. 0 equals halted, shutdown. 1 equals single user, maintenance mode. 2 equals multi-user mode without NFS. 3 equals full multi-user mode, text-based, with networking. 4 equals not used. 5 equals multi-user mode with graphical user interface. 6 equals reboot. What are inodes in Linux? How to find the inode associated with a file. An inode is a data structure on a file system on Linux and other Unix-like operating systems that stores all the information about a file except its name and its actual data. When a file is created, it is assigned both a name and an inode number, which is an integer that is unique within the file system. Both the file names and their corresponding inode numbers are stored as entries in the directory that appears to the user to contain the files. The concept of inodes is particularly important to the recovery of damaged file systems. When parts of the inode are lost, they appear in the lost found directory within the partition in which they once existed. What neat command will do? In Linux, neat command provides graphical interface to change network settings for network devices. What is the functionality of a Puppet server? Puppet is an open-source and enterprise application for configuration management tool in Unix-like operating system. Puppet is an IT automation software used to push the configuration to its clients, Puppet agents, using code. Puppet code can do a variety of tasks from installing new software, to check file permissions, or updating user accounts and lots of other tasks. How to create simple shell scripts in Linux. Make sure that the file begins with #bin/bash before any command lines. Make it executable, mod plus x file name. Executed by running sh_filename.sh or /filename.sh. What is SE Linux? SE Linux is an acronym for Security Enhanced Linux. It is an access control implementation and security feature for the Linux kernel. It is designed to protect the server against misconfigurations and/or compromised daemons. It puts limits and instructs server daemons or programs what files they can access and what actions they can take by defining a security policy. Explain the terms of SUD, SGID and sticky bit. In addition to the basic file permissions in Linux, there are few special permissions that are available for executable files and directories. SUD, set owner user ID upon execution. If set_to_id bit is set, when the file is executed by a user, the process will have the same rights as the owner of the file being executed. Normally in Linux, Unix, when a program runs, it inherits access permissions from the logged-in user. SUD is defined as giving temporary permissions to a user to run a program, file with the permissions of the file owner rather than the user who runs it. In simple words, users will get file owner's permissions as well as owner id and gid when executing a file/program/command. SGID, set group identification, same as above, but inherits group privileges of the file on execution, not user privileges. Similar way when you create a file within the directory, it will inherit the group ownership of the directories. SGID permission is similar to the sudo permission, only difference is, when the script or command with SGID on is run, it runs as if it were a member of the same group in which the file is a member. Sticky bit. The sticky bit is primarily used on shared directories. Sticky bit was used on executables in Linux so that they would remain in the memory more time after the initial execution, hoping they would be needed in the near future. But mainly it is on folders, to imply that a file or folder created inside a StickyBit-enabled folder could only be deleted by the owner. A very good implementation of sticky bit is /tmp, where every user has write permission but only users who own a file can delete them. How to disable user login via terminals. Add /spin/acknowledge field instead of /bin/bash in /etc/password file. What is the role of /etc/resolve.conference file? In this file we set the DNS servers, using their IP addresses, and the search domain. The values of the DNS servers are often added when the network is activated because the data can be provided by DHCP or a similar service. The option Open in Terminal is missing when user right-clicks on Terminal in GUI. How to fix this? This is basically because of missing package Nautilus Open Terminal. Once this is installed, the right-click option would show up. How do you disable the Network Manager service on run level 5? Root at red.desktop #config level 5 Network Manager off. Root at red.desktop #config list Network Manager. Network Manager 0, off 1, off 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, off 6, off. What is drop cache in Linux? Drop cache in Linux memory is the information stored the kernel for later use, as the memory is faster than the. How do you find out all the packages installed on your system, server? /root/install.log. This would only lists packages installed during deployment of the system. Packages installed later would not be listed here. Otherwise, run the command #rpmqa. This would query RPM database and prints out names respectively. In rel5.x we can check the file /var/log/rpmpkgs to find out all packages on the system. However, this file is deprecated in rel6. How to check the default gateway? Using root and command we can determine the default gateway in Linux. What is the minimum number of partitions you need to install Linux? Minimum 2 partitions are needed for installing Linux. The one is, or root, which contains all the files, and the other is swap. Linux file system is function specific, which means that files and folders are organized according to their functionality. For example, all executables are in one folder, all devices in another, and all libraries in another, and so on. Or root is the base of this file system. All the other folders are under this one. Can be considered as C. Swap is a partition that will be used as virtual memory. If there is no more available RAM, a Linux computer will use an area of the hard disk, called swap, to temporarily store data. In other words, it is a way of expanding your computer's RAM. What are the process states in Linux? Running, process is either running or ready to run. Interruptible, a blocked state of a process and waiting for an event or signal from another process. Uninterpretable, a blocked state. Process waits for a hardware condition and cannot handle any signal. Stopped, process is stopped or halted and can be restarted by some other process. Zombie, process terminated, but information is still there in the process table. What are different backup techniques? tar, kpo, xsbndufsdump. What is yum? Yum, Yellow Dog Updater, modified, is based on yup, the Yellow Dog Updater. Where does the name Yellow Dog come from? Yellow Dog is a version of Linux for the Power Architecture hardware and is RPM-based, just like Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Fedora. Yup, and later Yum, were written by the Linux community as a way to maintain an RPM-based system. What happens when you run the rm command? The rm command removes a file name from a directory list, decrements the link count of the corresponding inode by 1, and, if the link count thereby falls to 0, deallocates the inode and the data blocks to which it refers. Which Linux service is used as a database server? MySQL and PostgreSQL is used in Linux service. Which Linux service is used to turn a Linux system in proxy server? Squid service can be used to turn any Linux system into an in-proxy server. How to check the IP address of LAN card? Using ifconfig and IP address command we can determine the IP address of LAN card. What is the difference between a mask and a limit? A mask, user file creation mask, which determines the settings of a mask that controls which file permissions are set for files and directories when they are created. A limit is a Linux built-in command which provides control over the resources available to the shell and or to processes started by it. You can limit user to specific range by editing /etc/security/limits.conference. At the same time, system-wide settings can be updated in /etc/sysctl.conference. Like, share and comment. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Click the bell button for latest updates.